Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Catholic Narcissist Recovery, where we're on a mission to help you reclaim your life after narcissistic abuse and just have more joy and freedom as we heal together from the pains of this wound. And we're joined today with Dr. Jameson Natwick, marriage and family therapist, who's going to help us answer the question, what are the dangers of going to couples therapy with my narcissistic spouse? This is a scary one, Jameson.
It is. And aside from therapy, I would even say consulting a priest or another leader or a wisdom figure that you're like, oh, they can help our marriage. Or I'm going to go on this retreat. I think there's a Catholic retreat, like a Retrovi, where it's for couples on the rocks. So there's these retreats. All of these need to be discerned well, because I think sometimes we can go into this being like, oh, this is going to save it. Like this outside influence is going to come in. But the reality is that a narcissist will continue to be a narcissist in whatever relationship they're in. And all personality disorders, especially, narcissistic personality disorder is in cluster B, which is the dramatic personality disorders. All of these personality disorders that fit here are very masterful at putting on a show. So they could come into couples therapy and they would be the ideal client, and they would have a very subtle way of getting the therapist onto their side. So there would be this is a psychobabble where there would be this coalition forming where the narcissist and the therapist would be a coalition together, and it would be all the non-narcissist, the partner's fault, or the focus would then become on that. Now, there are several things here. Is that one, if you find a couples therapist who says, this is what I work with, this is my practice, here's my training, they probably know what they're doing. But some of this is getting a skilled person who knows, wait a second, someone is trying to draw me onto their team, which is a no. All the students I train, I'm like, we're the client is the relationship. And if someone's trying to draw us onto their side, that's a huge indication that something's going on there that we need to pay attention to and challenge. But unfortunately, so many couples therapists miss that. Or they believe a lie, or they believe in the twist. Actually, I would say they believe in the twisted truth.
Right.
Because that's what a narcissist is good at, is that a lot of times they might not overtly lie, but they tell this twisted truth that leaves the partner in a place where they're like, well, yes, that happened, but, and then it's hard to do
Yeah.
that.
Then they're on the defensive. Yeah.
Well, I think we should go more into the dangers. Why is it dangerous? A therapist believes the narcissist. Why is that dangerous? And I would love to hear your, if you have any thoughts on this, Veronica.
Well, I think you brought up some great points. I mean, narcissists are master manipulators, and they can present a perfect version of themselves with a therapy session, which, maybe is an hour, 90 minutes or so. So the therapist is going to see this perfect person and version. And then if you're sharing all your vulnerabilities, they're going to weaponize that against you. They're basically learning all the techniques of the therapist, all of your deepest wounds, your vulnerabilities, all the emotions you're sharing, and they're just going to shove that back in your face. It's tricky. I think it's important to seek therapy individually and not just in a couple setting.
Well, I think that's the thing about couples, is that if it's really hard, if someone, this isn't just about narcissistic individuals, but if someone just doesn't want to do the work or own up, it's really hard for change to happen.
Yeah.
And, when I do couples therapy, I'll just claim it. If someone isn't doing the work, or they're always blaming, I'm like, this isn't going to work. And this is going to be damaging.
Mm-hmm.
And we can just end it, because I'm not going to go through this and hope that you'll come around. I'm going to call out reality and see how you respond to it. And that's you're right. It is extremely dangerous, especially when the narcissist, the person being abused by the narcissist, is being vulnerable and opening up. that is, I will say that's a therapist's worst nightmare. All of us hate, like, it's really scary for us to be like, what happens after people leave? And I want you to hear that, because most therapists think that way. They're like, okay, I want to make sure people are safe and that their relationship is getting better. It's really scary when we think about it being used against them and making things worse. Which is where I would also encourage you, like, if you've ever been in that situation, like, to like individual. You said it best. Individual therapy is often the best route, and then it needs to be discerned to go to couples, which means usually the narcissist has gone into therapy and they're starting to untangle that personality so that they're able to go into couples therapy and start to tolerate what will happen.
Yeah, it's so tough. And I really feel for people who might be in this situation, have had, a lot of backlash from bad experiences. Yeah, I sympathize with what you may have gone through. Anything else that you'd recommend for people who find themselves in this situation?
Well, something that's just coming up for me now is a lot of times people may feel like, well, I have to do it because I'm married and this is a lifelong commitment. So they feel like I have no other options. This is where I really am like, I don't like it when we feel like we have few options, because I don't think that's a, a place where we can grow. Like, where it's like, it's either this is the only thing I can do. This is where, like, okay, like, if you're like, no, marriage is a sacrament, I'm supposed to be in it for a lifetime, go talk to a priest. Like, let them, like, help, like a trusted priest, like, let them help you understand that. Because if you go into this being like, this is our only option and I'm trying to heal my marriage or my relationship, like, that's a really dangerous place to be, because you're feeling like caught, and then you're also putting yourself in a place where you're like, I have no other choice. And I would really be like, wait, we have to have more choices and see, like, what other options are out there. um like, that's something that I would really like, we got to reevaluate how we approach that. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, not an easy topic or question. I think the main point here is seek help yourself before involving the person in your relationship that is narcissistic. So seek that help through spiritual direction, through a therapist, someone who's going to really believe you and take the time to understand what you're going through, because it can be very psychologically damaging. So, yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you for your insights on this, Jameson.
Absolutely.